Well, I'm pleased to say we're joined by Academy Director Jordan Clark for our first Academy update of the 25-26 academic year and season. Jordan, good to see you.
Good to see you, Dan.
We record this just ahead of the October half-term break. We might only be a couple of months into the year, but loads of great progress already. We'll start, as we often do, with a review of the education side of things. We have our BTEC provision with Virtual Learning UK. We have our A-level provisions with Carrington School, Dorking, Wanderers School in Reigate. We've got a few new tutors working with us, George, for the BTEC side of things. And again, more learners on board for 25-26. So just your thoughts on the education side of things?
Well, yeah, so it's been a whirlwind start to the year, as every sort of August, September is, Dan. So you have, we've increased our numbers again. So we've got a total of 121 BTEC learners across our Year 12 and Year 13 provision. We've then got 32 as our A-level provision at Ashcombe. We've got our normal sort of 5 or 6 at Donota, and then we've got our 49 learners residing at Carrington for our Key Stage 4 provision. So it's always a whirlwind start to the year when you're introducing so many new people and increasing numbers. We've obviously introduced a load of new facilities, so we've got a brand new classroom, brand new sort of breakout area for the learners, with loads of different added subsidiary bits that support their learning and support their time here at the Academy. We've also got, obviously, we use Ashcombe. They've provided us with a state-of-the-art classroom, and then obviously still using the Meadowbank facility. So timetabling, making the programme worthwhile for the learners, which is always our focus, is making sure we're getting the maximum out of the programme. Is always sort of a trial and error. You think the timetable's done, there's always little tweaks that you have to make to manage everyone's expectations and make sure that the learners are being productive in the time they're spending with us. You know, we've always got to remember that these learners are with us more than what they're with their parents. So we have a real duty of care, a real, demand on us to deliver, and that demand comes from me and the club to make sure that it's a very productive environment for them. So there's not really much break for the learners. The learners are full time. They are, very, very much so 8 o'clock in the morning till 4:30 in the evening, late afternoon. We are pedal to the metal, and we are always pushing for more. And then obviously welcoming new staff. So we're welcoming Yvonne, our new full-time tutor on the BTEC. Obviously, we got Webbo stepped into a tutor role this year as a sort of dual role with his youth stuff. And obviously Charlie Dunn continuing. Ben Dyson sort of heading up on the sort of day-to-day operations with yourself, Dan, and obviously my now sort of first team commitments, and having that it's been a whirlwind and a lot of new stuff and a lot of continuing of all the good stuff that we were doing and not losing sight of that. But I've got to say, it's been a tremendous first term. We're very grateful for everyone's hard work. It's always a bit of acclimatisation from learners to staff, and we've made some real inroads with our ways of working that are going to stand us in good stead for this year. And we're probably at capacity now, Dan, which is a tremendous situation with turning people away. Every year we're getting 200 applicants. We're only able to take on around 100. So it's sort of a 50-50 in terms of recruitment now. When I remember the first day, 2016, having one learner turn up to a talent ID day. So, yeah, we've built a bit of prestige with our programme. We've got some fantastic results. Carrington this year, I know we'll come on to it, but Carrington this year got their best results ever through our Dorking learners. Ashcombe have seen some increase in their results from our learners, and some real sort of exit routes of note. There's the likes of Marcos going to America, and so there's some real success stories that fans, people who love the club, need to be aware of, that we are impacting the community and young people in a far greater way than just playing football.
Absolutely, yeah. No, plenty of change, but plenty of forward progress, continuation of what we've done. And you very briefly touched on it there, Jordan, but of course we're next year into our 10th 10th calendar year of the Academy forming. So as you very briefly touched on there, from where you were then to where we are now, real fantastic progress. Before we look at competitions and teams more specifically, on the football side, we have to start with some brilliant early season progress made by a number of students breaking into the first team picture. Joshua Hebert, Ted Sullivan, also the likes of Louis Sullivan, Gabriel Jacks, Miles Straker. and many more students, of course, represented the club in the Surrey Senior Cup just a couple of weeks ago. So on that side of things, George, a fantastic start to the season.
Yeah, well, it's a groundbreaking year, Dan. It is really a groundbreaking year, and Mark's made note of that. In his interviews, we've had more debutants than ever. You've got like Seb. He signed a first-year pro, made his debut this year, fresh out of the academy. Saunders played his first full 90 minutes against Hemel. We've had obviously Josh Hebert regular in the first team, scoring his first goal to get a draw at Chelmsford. We've had the Surrey Senior Cup tie that came at a difficult time for the first team squad with the FA Cup, and Mark confidently took our elite development group. So we have an elite development group here at the club where they have a sort of separate programme that we've highlighted them as gifted and talented to be able to be the next ones. And that elite development group performed brilliantly on the night. We were definitely the better side in terms of, pattern, shape, footballing wise, a bit of naivety for some of the goals and a bit of individual errors. But in terms of an overall spectacle, Mark's very, very, very conscientious with his praise, and he gave a lot of praise, a round of applause in the changing room for everyone, which I've never seen before. So it's been a real groundbreaking year, and on Saturday just gone, I don't know when this is going out, but Ebbsfleet, we've had Ted Sullivan be the first sub, Jason Pryor injured. We've got some seasoned pros on the bench, Football League caps beyond belief, and then he looks to Ted Sullivan to go on in one of the biggest games, in terms of a title, sort of a competitor. You would like to think so. So, yeah, I obviously there's a correlation between me being involved and me having that know-how, and Rob obviously coming with his background now, us two leading the charge in terms of the way we're playing, headed up by Mark, and then that being sort of digested down the pyramid of our football club through all the way down to the younger years. So we're going to see more of this. We're going to see more groundbreaking, I'm sure. We're not going to sit here and go, we've cracked it, because we haven't. We need to get that first regular starter. We need to get that first one that, is can't be taken off the team sheet. And we want not just one of them, we want a few of them. And with this crop now, we've got some exciting players. And I'm really excited about what the future holds with the first team and our academy graduates.
You mentioned it there, away from the first team, in terms of that senior football development. It was a really significant year last year on that side of things, in terms of second years, graduates going out to local clubs, applying their trade at step 5, step 4, step 3. And continuation of that this year with Hayden Gale at South Park, Jack Saunders at Chertsey at the minute, Seb Tauter Caballero, Leatherhead, as you mentioned there, Jordan. And you've got other graduates kicking on again this year, like Luke Bedgersville, Neo Wooster, Ollie Rawlins. So really great continuation of progress on that side of things as well.
Well, you struggle to look across Surrey and Sussex and not find a team that has a Dorking graduate in it. You look at Hawley, you got Liam Trevitt, you look at Broadbridge Heath, you got Luke Bedge, Sal Marino, you look at Kingstonian, you got Joel Brown. You then go to East Grinstead, you've got Ollie Rawlins, James Zors, you've got Neo Wooster, ex-academy captain. So you look across the step 4, step 3, step 5 sort of local area. We've produced players that have gone out and making an impact in non-league football. So, that is a success story in itself. We're not only, obviously our main focus is to produce players for our first team, but we are producing better footballers. They come to us at a certain level and then they're leaving us at a better level, which shows development progression, and not just on their tactical and technical understanding, but the way they deal with senior changing rooms, the way they deal with fans, the way they deal with different managers and different ways of working, and understanding different styles of play. We try and give a real holistic approach to our programme, because we know that there's only 1, 2, 3 that maybe will get that first team sort of regularity. We hope for more, but we're very realistic in terms of the jump from National League Academy football to National League South, and obviously being a full-time club ourselves, majority, there is a jump. So we are keen that our development tools are there to give players the opportunity to go and play step 4, step 5, step 3, and they learn their trade, play against other really good opposition, and then they come back to us and we keep tabs on them, and who knows, the likes of Luke Bedge or someone like that could still work out to be in the Dorking first team. So once a Wanderer, always a Wanderer. They know that, and when they're part of our academy, they're always welcome, and we're always at the end of the phone for them if they need us. So that continues, and long may it continue.
Brilliant stuff. We look forward to seeing great progress continue to be made, those steps into senior football through the upcoming season. In terms of the academy side of things, George, in terms of academy football, our National League Academy South side, managed by Bobby Joe Taylor, is our flagship side, of course. But their season hasn't really got up and running just yet, and that's been in part due to our FA Youth Cup run, which has, again, already produced some really memorable nights, seeing us make it to the first round proper. That tie going to go ahead next week, a week after half term, against Cambridge City. We've seen off Lewis, Camberley Town, Wingate and Finchley already to make it to the first round proper, Jordan. So some really memorable nights, as I said, and all eyes on the first round proper.
Yeah, well, this time of year, throwing into the mix the FA Youth Cup, it's always, you've got all these fixtures scheduled, and then you're having to cancel them because of your progression. And then, like last week, it was on a Friday night because that's when Wingate could play at Potter's Bar. So that then impacts the Saturday for the B team. We've had a lot of Thursdays, Tuesdays, with our evenings taken up with the FA Youth Cup. Not complaining about it at all, because we want to go as far as we can in that competition. The first round prop is a great achievement, winning 3 games to get to that tie, and equally not easy draws. A lot of people will see Dorking Wanderers National League South and then see the likes of Camberley, Wingate, Lewis, and think, they're lower level. At that sort of under 18 level, there's real anomalies. So Lewis, are a tremendous youth setup. Dal there is a tremendous coach, and they are a force to be reckoned with. We've played Dale's sides in the FA Youth Cup before and had really tough, encounters and managed to get through on both occasions we played them. But really tough games, and we were excellent that night. Camberley, again, an under-18 Step 5 side that are partnered with another academy, and 5 of them boys in that team are playing Step 5 football. Really tough tie on a very difficult pitch. We had to win in a different way. And then Wingate, a total anomaly in terms of what we were expecting, playing on a Friday, different location, Potter's Bar. With obviously their ground being out of action at the moment. So we had a real tough tie. We were the better side. There was no doubt about that. But like in every cup football, they've hit us with a couple of sucker punches on the counter with the way that we play in these full press games. They've managed to get a counter on us a couple of times, 2-0 down at half time. And then myself and Bobby have managed to turn it on its head with the boys, and that never say die Wanderers attitude came through, and we scored with the last kick of the game to make it 2-2. Josh Hebert at the double, great free kick, and then a nice little tap in from a second phase set piece, and then obviously then penalties. You got penalties is a lottery, but then when you've got great players throughout your youth setup, when you're talking about Natty, Sam Allison out injured. And then we've got an under-16 who is a tremendous talent, who we couldn't ignore with the opportunity of playing him because he's able to play in that competition. He's then saved a pen in the shootout to put us through. So, in terms of stories and in terms of what we're doing at the moment, all the stories fit the narrative. The youth section's better than ever. The academy's bigger than ever. The academy's, getting more recognition than ever within the first team. And then those players are then producing for the academy, and that's both upwards and obviously coming back into the academy like Josh Hebert and Ted Sullivan. So, yeah, tremendous. That team will get going, the National League Academy South, when we settle into a rhythm, when we settle into the sort of Wednesdays weekly and not having these distractions and the heavy load for the B team at the start of the year. It's been a lot to manage and a lot of minutes for the boys. A lot of these boys would have played nearly 20, 30 games already come early November. So we've got to manage that. We've got to make sure that there's players coming through from our other teams as well and giving opportunities. And we will be doing that tonight with the B team game. There will be people getting opportunities with a National League game tomorrow, and obviously looking ahead to next week's FA Youth Cup tie. So yeah, there's loads of opportunities. We're doing well, and those sides are having to face a lot of logistical challenges, but we're managing it, and the FA Youth Cup is always our focus this time of the year. So obviously league results are important, we want to do well, but like everyone, the FA Youth Cup will be a target for us to get to, hopefully, the third round and play a Cat 1 top Premier League side would be our next step in our development.
Yeah, absolutely. Fingers crossed we can make it to what would be our joint furthest we've gone, the second round proper, in due course, but we've got Cambridge City in front of us first, and that tie will go ahead on Thursday, October the 30th, 7:45 kick-off at Cambridge. Keep an eye on the social channels for updates on that.
Get along, fans, get along.
Yeah,
Please do, because the boys will really appreciate it. So everyone get along if you can. Cambridge City, I know it's a long way, Cambridge City on a Thursday night, but everyone would really appreciate it if you can make the effort and come along. The boys would really appreciate it, and I know everyone, all the staff would as well.
Definitely, and on that note, a big thank you to everyone who did make the trip on a Friday night up the M25 to see us against Wingate and Finchley this past Friday. A massive thank you to everyone for their support. In terms of, you mentioned it there, Jordan, in terms of the Wanderers B team, their start to the campaign, a busy one, but also impacted with obviously the FA Youth Cup. But Charlie Dunn continues to lead that team, who compete in the Southern Combination Division 1. We continue to have that mix of first and second year students getting that senior football experience in that team. Thoughts on the start to the B. It's been a very busy start for the
yeah,
B
well,
team.
It's an unrivalled structure, Dan, and I say it in most, so everyone who, if there's anyone new watching this, we have a structure that's unrivalled. We've got a Step 6 B team, they play at semi-pro level. People can talk about the level, but all levels of football now. You look at the National League South, more full-time than ever. Even if you look down Step 3, full-time clubs that are in there, the likes of Gloucester and people like that, Havant and Waterlooville, there'll be others, Carshalt and Highbridge. There's the quality of team is now starting to get better at all levels. Step 5, I was at Step 5, we've had, you look at what Farnham have done, you look at what Whiteleaf have done, Jersey have done from those divisions last year. You're talking that the quality of football in non-leagues going up, and that will be the same for Step 6. You've got the likes of Godalming in there. You've got some really good teams and progressive teams that want to go further, and go up the pyramid. So our B team has a high demand to be able to deliver week in, week out. We are making sure that we are conscientious with these young players. I think that's the key thing, because there's a lot of demand on them at the moment, so we're giving people a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of mixed squads. There's a lot of people from our other development teams getting opportunities probably earlier than what we would like, and that's not saying they're not ready. It's more so it's about the right timing rather than them being good enough players. So yeah, there's an element of we're introducing a lot of new things, and we've had a lot of turnover and positive turnover. Josh Hebbert was a regular in that team, won't kick a ball for the B team now. Likes Ted Sullivan, probably won't kick another ball for the B team moving forward. Very unlikely. You've then lost the likes of Ollie Rawlins, Jacob Todman, Hammers Laws. You've then got a lot of goals gone from the team. Ollie Rawlins, I think, across the National League A and B team last year scored 50, 60 goals. So, it's always evolving, and we've got to evolve with it. And then couple that with the difficult period we've had in terms of fixture congestion and giving people opportunities. There's been a bit of hit and miss, but we're very excited about what that sort of next 2/3 of the season looks like. And hopefully we win the FA Youth Cup, of course, but the expectation is to get third round and do our best to get there and see where we end up from there. But once that does come to a close, it'll be a lot more manageable.
In terms of other development sides within the academy, on the boys' side, we've got National League Alliance team, a YDL South East team, and a Tactic League T3 team as well. All been picking up good results lately, performing well. It's first time in a little while we've had sort of 3 separate competitions rather than any kind of overlap in terms of 2 teams competing in the same leagues, under the same body of league, as I should say. So that creates a bit more of a unique experience for this season.
Yeah, we changed our structure, having learnt from last year. Obviously, numbers went up last year, so we introduced 2 National League Alliance sides. And anyone who knows that division, the National League Academy division, then you've got the Alliance League, and they're very competitive. very, very competitive. And we probably introduced one too many sides in that division in terms of to make it competitive for the boys and to make it a real development tool. So this year we sort of changed our angle and have entered into the Youth Development League, which is another good level. But now we've got a stage development to our boys' side of things. So we've got the tactics, then the YDL League, National League Alliance, National League Academy, alongside the B team, where we get two different levels of development, technically and tactically on a Wednesday, obviously playing against some of the best under-19 sides that are out there in the country, and then obviously on a Saturday playing against men, you know, the fans and all the different challenges that come with semi-pro football on a Saturday. So our development tool now, I feel, is the best it's ever been, and you'll see regular changes in that because people will start doing really well in certain leagues and they'll deserve different challenges. And that staged approach now and that sort of tiered development will allow us to have a lot more, you know, understanding of where players are at rather than them being over-challenged or under-challenged. So, yeah, we've got our next squad reviews that have been completed. That will be going out, and there's a lot of movement up and down and people being tested for different reasons, whether that be managing, you know, difference and managing the difficult conversations, and also some positive ones of who have done well in those other teams who are now going to get recognition in the Academies Division, the Alliance Division, the YDL League, to be able to test themselves at a higher level.
And one of the most notable aspects of the programme this year, we have our highest ever number of girls on the programme. This has led to not only continuation of our Tactic League W1 side, who compete midweek, but the Academy overseeing JPL and SCWFL weekend sides as well on Saturdays and Sundays respectively. So, a really, really significant year for the girls' development.
Yeah, every year we seem to be talking about it, and it always puts a smile on my face because I'm so happy to have, you know, 25, 30 girls that are full-time with us, being educated and playing their football. We've introduced this year the Saturday and Sunday teams, increased the staffing pool with Tom and Dean and Chris, who are part-time now, working within the academy, running them teams, coaching them in the evenings, overseen by Ben and Zara and myself. And then obviously the Wednesday team taken by Ben and Zara. And that sort of fluidity between those three teams, being able to upward challenge into the 23s development team here with the ladies, and then again upward challenge again into the ladies first team. So I think at the sort of under 19 level, academy level, our girls structure couldn't really be any stronger. I think we're winning games comfortably. We've put them in the Tactics League this year because we thought that would be a fair competition. At the moment, we're winning games, you know, 7, 8s, 9s. And, you know, we've got some of the best young girls I've seen at that age group. And we've been playing teams, and obviously I set up the women's team here, so I've seen a lot of women's football. And I think we've got some really exciting talent, like Sir Jasmine. You know, there's some really exciting talent. And the plan is for that to keep going from strength to strength. We want to have 2 teams next year. We want to have a tactics team, and then we're definitely going to enter this league at the minimum, the National Academies Girls League, which has got, you know, the likes of Bromley, some top girls academies in it. And that'll be a completely different level of challenge. But our girls are up to it. Our girls are definitely good enough, and after a year of development this year, a lot of first years being second year dominant next year, will be increasingly professional and will be increasingly able to compete at that level. So, yeah, any girls out there, now's the time to get involved, because we're looking to mirror what we've done with the men's section and the boys section, and try and get that sort of progression and try and get a sort of 50-50 split in terms of having 100 girls and 100 boys on the programme. So, yeah, we're very excited about what's to come. We've got a Talent ID Day coming up just for girls. I believe that's November the 13th.
Yes.
And that is 7 till 10. Come along, presentation, session, all the staff will be here, conversations to be had, how we can help support your next stage of education first and foremost, and then obviously your football development alongside it.
And we mentioned earlier on the boys' side, those steps into senior football development. Just a word on a couple of the girls who've done that this season. Jasmine Smith, who won the Golden Boot for the whole of the academy last year. She's gone in at Tier 4 with Worthing FC. Then we've got Jasmine Johnston-Jones, first-year student at Ashcombe, who's gone in at Horsham. for this season as well. So brilliant to see the girls making those steps into senior football as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Again, mirroring the men's side of things. You know, if they're too good for our team, can't get in the first team here currently, then we'll find them football. And then in Jasmine's case, she's gone to a tier level higher than what our women's team play in. So, you know, we are producing good quality across the board. That is men's and women's, and we're very excited by the journey that we're on, and hopefully, you know, we can continue to upward challenge and get more and more progression into those senior teams.
Yeah, and long may it continue. That senior football progress on the boys and the girls side, brilliant to see. And just looking at the future, Jordan, and we mentioned this in the education review, but we go into our third year of partnership with our key Stage 4 partners, Carrington School in Red Hill. Partnership that goes from strength to strength, with a full complement of Year 10 and Year 11 students on board for 25-26. So great to see that partnership continuing and continuing to flourish as well.
Yeah, so we elongated our pathway, you know, as you said, Dan, 3 academic years ago, and that is so that we're, you know, having players at the age of 14 that we're working with on a full-time basis. And then as they then progress into post-16, they've already had 2 years of the Wanderers Way and working with our staff. George, Rachel, Dyson, Zara are all heavily involved at Carrington, myself as well. We've got some exciting players, some players that play in our youth section, some players that are playing in the school team there, getting tremendous results, and we've got a tremendous sort of programme for them there where they're getting an unrivalled structure, again, Dan, like something that is not done in the South East, that they've got a full-time Dorking Wanderers or football programme at a key Stage 4 secondary school alongside their GCSE studies. It's unbelievable. And that is a long-term project there, because that word needs to get out about that. The word needs to, you know, we need to continue to produce players like we've got Rubens, Ronaldo, people already who've joined our post-16 programme now who are exciting young players. And I'm looking forward to the first one of them getting through to the first team opportunity, hopefully. And imagine that, someone from the age of 14, Year 10 at Carrington, coming through the whole pathway over 4 years and then becoming a first team player. That is the stuff that we're wanting to achieve. And I'm sure there'll be Year 6s out there now, Dan, sort of primary school kids who'll be looking, going, I want to go to Carrington because I want to have the opportunity of joining the Dorking programme and elongate my development and try and get into the first team. So there'll be lots of people listening to this. Share the news, share the knowledge. Let young aspiring footballers know that Dorking Wanderers are breaking ground across this Surrey region in terms of football development with our youth section and our programme offerings. And there is a place for everyone. There is a place educationally. There is a place for everyone football-wise. And we are developing people to be the best possible people they can be, but alongside that, obviously, becoming a good academic and a good footballer.
And just finally, Jordan, looking ahead to the rest of the calendar year, what can we expect over the next couple of months? We come out the October half term, a couple of months to the calendar year left. And I guess just general thoughts on 2025 really as well, George. Just general thoughts as rather scarily we approach the end of another calendar year, yeah. Yeah,
well, look, it's been a tremendous year. I want to say a huge thank you to, there's so many sort of subsidiary people and other major people involved, the likes of Station View, HAB, Bright Outlook, you know, Steve Tallboy's Foundation. There's so many people that are involved that have helped this year be a great year, and they'll help us have another great year in 2026, our 10th anniversary. We're looking to continue the great work that we do, Dan, change loads and improve loads as well. We're always looking for the next step. I'm a tyrant of a boss. I'm a tyrant of an individual, always demanding more hours, demanding more from everyone. And that's what this club's built on. This club's built on hard work, going above and beyond. And that is crucial for me when we're the main contact with these learners. We are seeing these learners for 25 to 40 hours a week, depending on what they're doing. And it's important that every one of them hours count. So we'll continue to progress, we'll continue to get better, we'll continue to change and adapt where we need to, but stay true to what Dorking Wanderers is about, and that is a family, that is a collective input, not just one person. You know, I've got, 17 members of staff now, from physios, S&C coaches to teachers to professional development phase assistants, secretary. You know, we've got a tremendous team that all work tirelessly for the same goal, and that is achieving fantastic exit routes for all of our players and great development in the time that we have with them. So, yeah, 2025, great year. 2026 needs to be better, and it will be better. And anyone wanting to get involved, just get in touch. Come to a Talent ID Day. We just had one on Sunday. Next one will be in November. Go to our website. You'll see the details. Get along. Come and join the journey. This club's only going one way. First team down. You know, I'm across all of it now, and it's been a tremendous insight. And I know where the club's going with the likes of John Bynes, Mark, obviously still spearheading it. The new youth section with all Alex, you know, Charlie Dunn, Richard Webber, Jack Clements, Josh, you know, and all the coaches and managers there. There is a real synergy, a real sort of collective approach to making this club great, because it's already great. So we're going to have a fantastic next 10 years, but 2026 will be exciting. So thank you to everyone, the media team, everyone, because without you all, the club wouldn't be what it is. So let's push on. And thank you for your time, Dan.
Oh, well, thank you, Jordan. And just to touch on what you mentioned there, 2 Talent ID Days taking place next month, Thursday, November the 13th, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. here at Meadowbank. We've got the girls' designated talent ID, and then our next open one is Sunday, November the 23rd. That'll be 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Meadowbank as well. Visit
our website and get signed up, and we'll see you all there.
Brilliant stuff. Jordan, thank you for your time, and we'll catch up again. Before the Christmas break.
Hopefully the next interview that I'm doing is at Old Trafford, you know, round 3 of the FA Youth Cup, hopefully. So, yeah, see everyone then.
Fantastic.